my name is PolishLynx. Welcome to the latter horror visual novel. Let's continue. The next 2 days rush by in a blur, altogether leaving a collective mess of work suddenly piling up, and new unexpected acquaintances or friends. Depends on how you look at it, really. Either way, I'm stuck developing these photos at 3 in the morning to reach a deadline set by an over-eager art director. Don't get me wrong, the release is good, has a vision, and knows what he wants, but damn, he can be too enthusiastic sometimes.
Doesn't matter when you couldn't sleep anyway.
There is nothing new in it, of course. After years working as a freelance photographer, it's simply something I have grown used to. Get to know people, build a client base, do good work, and cash in some late hours if we need to be. Rinse and repeat. It certainly takes a while to get some footing on the field, but it's the kind of thing that pays off in the long run as long as you keep at it. Given enough time, you might end up with big names on your client list. Names like the Wrights in particular. I never did pay much attention to them, but it's virtually impossible not to hear about them when a local news channel or paper has something to say on their name. A party here, an acquisition there. Sometimes it's a new business venture, other times it's the everyday gossip that typically follows popular people like them. Not in a million years did I ever imagine I would end up working for such a high-profile couple. And between that and the fuzz that comes with it leaves me no time to ponder over whatever happened to Isabella or why Ash is so adamant we keep away from the pair.
They do seem like the good folk, though, despite the whole fame thing.
Sure, there was a rumor running around years ago about him being involved in some business scandal. But just like every gossip blown out of proportion by the media, nothing came of it, and eventually it simply died down. Much is definitely left to be said for the husband, but I doubt a woman like Miss Wright would pick him if he doesn't have any good points at all. Honestly, I don't like Luke, and Hannah is awesome. Miss Wright, Hannah herself though. She ain't particularly bad the way the press makes her out to be. True. The tabloids had it all wrong, that's for sure. For someone born with a silver spoon in her mouth, well, she ain't exactly what I was expecting. Among other things, the newfound friendship is what I least expected from her, but here we are. Although with a life as public as Wright's, Mother is the woman who often gets the crappy end of the stick. I can't help but feel sorry for her. She's a real nice person when given the chance. Heck, she might have even ended up friends with Rebecca and Isabel too if they weren't living worlds apart. Probably. The bee quickly pulls me back before my thoughts travel further. In one practiced motion, I carefully place the wet print I'm holding on a drying rack and amble over my makeshift dark room to get the last photos from the water bath. Inside the converted room closet, the film processor lets out an airsoft flag before going on its standby mode. Oh my god, I feel like I can predict what he will take out. At its mouth, a lone photograph sits on tray, barely visible with the lack of light. It's the last one tonight for the set Miss Wright requested. I don't usually make this a habit, giving away stuff that is. It's bad for the business no matter how well-intentioned or generous you are. This is an exception, however. She did treat me well and was a pleasant companion all throughout the shoot. Even if she didn't ask, I would have probably given her a few prints just for the hell of it. Miss Wright ain't such a bad subject matter to begin with. And maybe this is just me, but for some reason, for someone who has everything in the palm of her hands, all the money in the world, a loving husband, and a plenty big mansion to call home, she's lonely. She doesn't just appear like it. It shows in the tone of her voice, how she moves, and most certainly in her smiles. Always hidden behind the glamour for the world to never see. Sometimes for people like her, small things like this helps. A little reminder that the world can be kind too. Water drips from the paper as I blindly pick it up and gently lay it on another tray holding a decent amount of photo fluid. A few seconds under resolution is all it needs before it's ready for the drying. No good rushing this last one, even if my body's really screaming for some decent snooze. My hand thumbs for the light switch, moving forward with familiarity, while I fish for a squeegee among the mess of tools on the drawer with the other. The bulb flickers twice before the glow settles and casts a soft light in the tiny space. When glance back down, squeegee in hand, Reed finishes the process and finally call it a night.
What on earth?
Her head is gone. Blurred and distorted beyond recognition, rather. The red completely smudged over, leaving no trace of the same sweet smile the good woman carried in all the previous prints.
Damn, that was too careless.
A common mistake to make, of course, if one is negligent enough to pick an evil press photo in dark like I apparently did. Well, I would say it's not that this time. It has happened before, loads of times actually. But I still can't help but feel a small pang of frustration over one mistake a newbie would likely make. With a sigh, I reach out for a switch can, intending to develop a new one from scratch.
It could pass off for one of those supernatural pictures they show on TV, though.
Emory clicks. One cursory thought in the sea of many, and a short yet distinct second from the day before. A glimpse is all I got, but it's enough to burn the image in my mind. It was a shadow. No. A woman. In her 20s or early 30s maybe. But with how far gone her flesh alone has become, it's not possible to tell at first glance. The skin itself has really taken a sickly pale color, rotten in most parts, blood dripping from every open gash and lesion on her body. Bony hands grip his right neck like a noose, staining the skin underneath with a vibrant shade of scarlet. Nothing but malice fills the gleam in her eyes.
Zachary?
Not for me, but for Miss Wright.
Zach, is something the matter?
No!
Oh, no, there's nothing wrong. I just remembered something, that's all. Let's get back to the pictures. Can you move a bit more to the left, yeah?
Some of Hannah's shots from the photo shoot the day before came out distorted after Zachary developed them. He would have almost dismissed it as a human error if he had remembered a chilling memory from yesterday's shoot. The memory alone is enough to make you wretch. I brushed it off then. A trick of the eye, I told myself. Or a product of the heat. The weather has been unexpectedly warm recently, so it shouldn't be too surprising for such things to happen. And, well, blaming this on the usual fatigue and overwork, rain, the weather, or an amateur on my part is far more convenient. It makes a whole lot of sense than what the smell voice inside my head whispers. The same tiny voice that only makes itself known when something's a fool, the same one that lent a curious ear to Isabella's worries about the mansion. And with each second I spend staring at this photograph, the murmurs in my head only grow louder against my ears. Show the photo to Hannah or show the photo to Ash. Alright, so that's a tough one. I mean, technically, I feel like showing this to Hannah might be a bad idea. I really do think that if we go to her with that, it might trigger something bad for her. Sorry. I really do think it might lead to this. On the other hand, Zachary. That's a tough one. I really don't know. On one hand, I don't want. I mean, technically, Hannah is already involved. Ash is not. I kind of don't want to get him involved in the situation. On the other hand, he's already seen. The letter, so. And he was around during that party, right? You know what? I think I think I will try to play it safely? Maybe safely? I'm not sure if it's a safe play, but... Let's go with Ash. Let's go with Ash. Even if I really want to click the other one. Let's go here. Ash will give me flag for this, he will. I can already hear what he's going to say about this the moment I bring it up. Hell, before he even sees anything I wonder. The guy is a skeptic through and through, and it will take more than my account for him to even consider this. But when you've been there, seen something enough to raise the hairs at the back of your neck and leave you want to flee or hide what he thinks is the least of my concerns. I'm no hero, that's a title best reserved for someone else. Still, if this will help him change his mind, it's worth a try. Isabella's gone and done the same thing, did she? Outside the sun has yet to rise. I've still got a few hours before dawn, good enough time to mull over how I will go about this with him. Plenty of space to check if I'll get the same result if I redo the process again. The film processor hems back to life at my touch. The light switch gives out a soft tick and darkness versus the smoke closed again.
Somehow those urban legends don't sound so silly now.
Huh, you don't say, man. You don't say. Sometimes I wish Ash would make himself easier to find. 24 messages, 13 phone calls, and 1 visit to his flat later. I still have no idea which rock in Luxburn he went up to hide under again. The guy has his own place, but refuses to say in it. He has his own phone, but doesn't answer any of his calls or give any indication he's got in my messages. Most of the time he will just show up on my front door. Sometimes in the middle of the night complaining how uncomfortable it is to sleep in the back of the Shirley, his car. As if the old couch in my flat is any better. Nothing new from him, but a bit frustrating for me. There's the police precinct, of course. Then again, he's not there most of the time either, and if that's also true for today, he's likely out on another stakeout. There's nothing much to do for me but to wait if that's the case.
Let's just hope I'm lucky enough today.
While Luxburn is a relatively peaceful city boasting a low crime rate, its precinct stays abused with activity. As soon as I open the glass front doors, murmurs coming from the people waiting in the lobby welcome me. Officers can occasionally be seen shuffling in and out of the rooms, greeting civilians with a casual smile and a polite nod. Some folk look a little worse for wear, like the receptionist, who looked at me with much disdain the moment I arrived. Thankfully I won't have to deal with him today. Before I can even step in, Ashley's voice low, comes from the hallway adjacent to the lobby.
Not even for just 1 minute?
No. The case was dismissed, remember?
You were the one handling that case.
If you want access to those records, you've got to ask Chief. I was taken off it before shit went to hell. Why do you even bother? Even Professor Clark seems to have given up on that.
Well, never mind, you won't understand.
Right. I know you owe Professor Clark a lot, but the right guy isn't just someone you mess with. They've got the money. Who knows what else gets swept under the rug with them involved.
That takes a special kind of ignorant not to know.
And a smart person to know which boundaries he can't cross. You're a bright guy, you'll figure it out. In any case, I've got to get going. Another missing person case on my hand. Benjamin on the front desk looks like he's about to maul someone after the 4th one yesterday. Murders, people missing, what a time to be alive. Man, I miss the old Luxburn.
You and me both. I'll see ya. Gonna go grab some lunch.
He nods me first as soon as he enters the lobby and pauses. Confusion briefly crosses his face until I fish out the phone from my pocket and wave it at. Frowning, he pulls his own mobile out, wordlessly fiddling with it for a few seconds before sighing heavily. There ain't any annoyance in him when he glances up for only mild expression at what might be a hint of amusement.
Stop taking pointers from Isabella. This is gonna get old soon.
At least use your phone properly.
It's an alarm clock, a good note-taking device, a halfway decent camera, and maybe a music player too. If I'm being nice. What else do I need it for?
I don't know, keeping in contact maybe?
When he merely shrugs, I know I've struck a chord. He's far from holding a piece of technology in contempt, of course. Ash has always been nothing but practical from the start, and technology is useful. Only when he gets to focus on one thing, like a case he's handling, he tends to forget there are other things around him. A reminder and a nudge in the right direction can get him a long way.
I've got an email on that social media site the girls roped us into joining.
That doesn't make any sense. Also, you've got an account before any of us had one.
For policing purposes? Anyway, why are you here? I thought you have something scheduled today. Or was that yesterday?
That was yesterday. Look, about that, there's something I want you to see.
He stops me with a tap on my shoulder, walks past me straight to the door and gestures with his head towards the very ear receptionist when I rise and I'm rolling question.
Over lunch. I haven't eaten anything since last night, and Benjamin there doesn't really like loiterers around here.
Where does he follow after him, but not after sending the poor guy behind the table an apologetic smile. Aspectic, he takes a seat in the farthest corner of the cafe, a good way from the window, but easily allows a view of who comes and goes. Secluded enough not to be disturbed by lunch hour rush or be overheard by a curious bystander. If I know this is lunch he invited me to out of the assume I have got dragged into another stakeout. After years of knowing him for, this has simply become one of the many habits he has I've gotten used to. Food arrives minutes later. I wanna eat that now. A slice of their vegetarian quiche for me. Meanwhile, Ashton has opted for a cup of coffee plus a gracious serving of...
You having cake for lunch?
He shrugs and then proceeds to lean without even a hint of remorse. Frankly, it's like seeing a child get his Christmas present early.
Don't tell Becca. I'll get an earful. It's just for today.
You should listen to her though. The kind of work you do, you'll need to eat something other than sweets. I don't want to see you drop dead in front of my apartment again.
I told you, just this once. Have you been hanging out with Becca lately? You're beginning to sound like her.
Nah, just for some recipes. But she has the right to worry, you know? It's like she's taking care of two kids. One bitches on sweets, while the other on cup noodles. At least Bella knows how to cook.
Hey, I can at least boil something. Wait, that's easy, right? I mean, you just put water in and...
No, don't even think about it. You destroyed your own kitchen once by sticking a pressure cooker on it.
Nice.
I think my sister is a whole lot better than you. And this is coming from someone who has no other choice but to eat her cooking for some time.
To be fair, he genuinely appears offended at the last remark. Hate will be too strong of a word to describe how Sis and him usually interact whenever we are in the same room. For whatever appropriate word it is, I can say with most certainty that the feeling's mutual for both. Ash thinks she nags too much, while Sis thinks he's a trouble magnet and I should stay away from him. They are both technically right on their assessments.
How's your sister, by the way? Still bullying white guys?
She's married to one now. Hey, you're the one who started it. Okay, is she married? Is she married to someone? Because how would I know, damn it? I mean, I don't know if she's married or not. I don't know that! But you are the one who started it, give me minus points over here, so yeah.
You do know she's married to one now.
Plus.
I hope she doesn't end up poisoning him with her cooking.
Pot calling the kettle black?
She can't be better than me.
Actually, she is now. They're planning to start a restaurant sometime in the future.
Oh. Wait, so you want to tell me that... she was terrible. Super terrible. Now she's opening a restaurant. Huh.
I was bedridden for days after eating some of the stuff she whipped up. And now you're letting her cook for other people?
Don't exaggerate. It was just for one day and you're the one who refused to leave your apartment. You should come by though. Sis gave birth a few days ago. Girl.
Huh? Interesting.
I've only seen the pictures. But I might visit sometime after everything's settled down. Too many backlogs to go through for now.
No way in hell. She'll just find something to criticize again. Last time, it was Shirley.
He makes a show of being utterly mortified, though I'm quite sure he doesn't mean any of that. He might not say it straight out, but I'm pretty sure he's enjoying the small visits whenever he can. Something about it reminds him of his own family, sort of like making up for the one he never got back after his parents separated. Sore spot, that one topic, one thing he never ever brings up in any conversation if he can help it, and I've never seen the need to be nosy. There are some wounds you're just not meant to open, and for the both of us, the sentiment goes the same way.
As if you ain't already on a shit list. You're just afraid of her.
In your dreams. But I'll think about it. Can't just drop this thing at the moment.
His change is only subtle, but his aggravation over the matter hangs something palpable in the air.
Still no closer?
The opposite, actually. There's been some slip-ups here and there. Careless mistakes, and let's just say I'm waiting for him to make another one.
Huh?
What about you? How are things on your end?
All piled up on top of the other. But I can manage. Still recovering from the expenses for the movie, so the surge in new projects helps. Well, there's this one thing.
The expression on his face grows more puzzled with each photo I spread on the table. There's about 8 of them, all of it reprints of the same thing. Mrs. Right, the sort head on the photos. He takes a minute to go through each, eyeing the prints thoroughly. The fur on his brow doesn't ease even as he gathers all of it into one pile and sets them in one neat stack in front of me with a heavy sigh.
Hana, right?
Yeah. How did you...
The locket. She never takes it off.
Yeah.
Evan's family heirloom.
I won't even think about asking why or how he knows that. If he's investigating them, he will likely have already got every unimaginable dirt on them, including family history.
Are you done with your work with them?
Yesterday, yeah. It's just a small feature for a magazine. Interviews, photos, standard stuff, nothing big. But see, here's the thing. I don't know how else to put this out there without sounding crazy, but there really is something odd with that place. Remember the letter?
He drags in a brief, reaches up his nose and pinches it. Like the action alone will help grant him all the patience in the world to continue this conversation.
Please tell me this isn't about that again.
No, Ash, you've got to listen this time.
I am listening, and I can't believe that just came out of your mouth. These are some blurred out photos, and that letter is just a stupid prank. I expected this from Isabella, not you.
You're the photographer here. I don't see any need to get worked up over this.
I know what you mean, but will you hear me out first?
Ash leans back on his seat and doesn't say anything further. He gestures for me to continue with a wave of his hand, impatience clearly on his face. Any other person telling him this, and he'll walk out without batting an eye. I suppose the only reason he's giving me the benefit of the doubt is because we know each other.
Ash, I don't easily buy into these things as much as you do. Yesterday, though, behind Hana.
He blinks at this, his eyebrows lifting mentally before setting into a deep frown.
Hana? Since when were you on a first-name basis with the right missus?
Why does that even matter?
I thought you said this was just a gig.
His voice stays level, but the accusation in it is as clear as the day. It hits a nerve in me, somehow, more than that tone usually does. That's not the point here, man. Yes, it really is just a gig! Okay. Alright. Patience can be a tough thing to summon at times. But we didn't get this far as friends if we let our own tempers be the lord of us.
Bro, it's really just another freelance work.
He eyes me skeptically, the same stare he reserves for people he interrogates. I've been on the receiving end of it before, early in our friendship. Years later, he's already got the unimpressed police look down pat.
And there's nothing going on with me and Miss Hana. She was just being friendly. Insisted I call her by her first name, that's all.
I wasn't implying any of that. You're not that sort of guy.
I know, but let's just get that out of the way. The just-in-case elephant in the room scenario, aight? She's a married woman, Jesus!
Not with the image she presents in public.
No, but trust me, she ain't any of the things the tabloid writes about her.
Like I read any of those.
I know you don't, but keep it in mind, will you?
Will do. Though I can't promise she'll get off scot-free if she's involved. Man, with how you're acting, it feels like I'm doing a solid for your girlfriend.
Cut that out, will you? And I'm not asking you to. Besides, what's currently going on here is more important.
Alright, lay it in.
Counting everything takes the better half of our lunch, but he manages to listen through the entire thing without a snide comment. A feeling itself, actually. At the end of it, Marshmallow nods, takes out his phone and excuses himself. Off to a far corner of the cafe for some privacy, if you can even afford to have such in a place as public as this. The University of Lynchburg. He returns in a while and hands me a small card. Andrew Clark, PhD, Professor of Psychology and Ethnography, Department of Psychology, College of Human Sciences, phone, email, and so on.
I can't stop you if you're willing to believe in this crap. Give this guy a call. You're better off talking to him than me. He's at the public library now if you want to catch him there. He used to be my professor back in the university.
Oh, no, I don't think that's...
Go on, I already gave him a heads up. You know I can't help you out, man.
He gives my arm tap and walks off, mumbling about checking back how things are at the precinct. These terms Zachary said to show the photographs to Ashton. During lunch at the coffee house, they briefly discussed Zach's sister before the topic we showed the photos. Refused to believe his friend Ashton advised him to talk to Andrew instead. Alright. I don't see his face when he leaves, but I know this is his own little way of helping out despite what he doesn't voice out. And of all the places! Okay, it's kind of crazy. This story really is crazy, no matter how you look, okay? No matter how you look at it. It never crossed my mind I will end up wandering to the public library today, considering I rarely ever visit it. I don't know if I ever been to the public library in my city, to be honest. I probably never was. And besides, I do believe there is nothing interesting there. I mean, it's not any fancy library, so... Anyway, somehow there has always been this kind of disconnect between me and books in general. I was there once, actually. And really, there was nothing interesting there. Sure, some of them held my attention in my youth during the brief times of the day I was left to my own with nothing to do. I went through the whole of Brown's collection, as a matter of fact. Read all of them twice or thrice even. But they never did hold it for long, most of it never even sticked. Especially after I learned it's simply easier to do things myself if I want to learn stuff. This ain't in the plan in the first place. But after Ashton went through the trouble to contact the professor, I can't just ignore it. Nothing but quiet greets me insightful. No typical moon one would associate with the library, but one akin to a hush to an impending trouble. Or perhaps I'm just overthinking again. I like to think I'm just thinking too much about this, that this is just the lack of sleep talking. Regardless, apart from a group of students murmuring the corner somewhere, the place is free of its usual visitors. All while my footsteps echo in a manner uncertain enough to raise the hairs at the back of my neck. Much to my relief, it does not take me long to find him, being the only occupant in this side of the room. Professor Andrew Clark. I never personally met the man, but Ash has spoken lightly of him several times. In fact, he's Ash's go-to guy when something's troubling him with a gaze. My steps are unsure as I approach. At any rate, I greet him with a warm smile like a grandson he hasn't seen in a long time.
Ashton's friend, I take it. Zachary.
Maybe. Possibly.
You'll have to forgive this old man if I don't get your name right.
Yes, it's correct, Thor.
Oh, no, you got it. It's Zach. Zachary Steele, Professor Clark.
He just the empty seat across the table while he returns to his book. The next couple minutes pass in a life silence as he continues to read and take notes from the pile he's accumulated on the table. Maybe I should have taken a book first before heading here. But before I can even get far into that idea, Professor clicks the book shut and sets it atop the stack next to him.
Ashton told me you were hoping to get answers from me. Although I'm not quite sure what I could share, I'll do my best to help.
Of course, there are a lot of things I want to ask. How do we get out of this mess? It's the first among tens, hundreds of concerns in my head. But in the presence of someone I barely know, their thoughts won't easily form. He's nothing but patient, however, and with enough time to mull over, a question finally forms.
Do you believe in the paranormal, Professor?
It's supernatural, actually. Don't worry. It's a common mistake to make, but they really are two different things. The other one deals with what we can't explain at the moment, while the other are things we may not have an explanation to. Here.
He placed a couple of papers in front of me, the very same one he was writing on earlier. Wow, he has a writing that looks exactly like it was from a freaking printer. A study of Luxembourg supernatural culture in a nutshell.
A friend of mine wrote that a few years ago. He took interest in the city after reading about the stories. I have to agree with him here. Even stories dealing with things you don't see with the naked eye can be rife with culture, and this city thrives on it. Just ask the locals.
Like ghosts, for example.
Among other things. The interpretation has changed over the years, though. Various religions, for example, have their own version. It might not always be a spirit now. It could be a memory, or an imprint, an echo, so to speak. Some are born from curses even, out of great anger, hatred, or pain. There was this one story. Here it is.
Another book is pulled down from the stack and placed open atop the papers, where it speaks with such passion that it makes me wonder if some part of him believes this to be true. It is interesting though, even if I'm personally not a fan of such stories. And soon hours pass without my notice.
In the end, it asked for something to be sacrificed in order to destroy whatever anchors the wraith. A sad tale, that one, but the simplest grudge can bring the ugliest, even in the kindest person, with some people none the wiser. Oh, I'm sorry, I just went on.
Nah, it's good. Are you familiar with the Ermengarde Mansion, though?
I mean, everyone probably is in the city.
Of course, that goes without saying. Who hasn't heard of the local legend? In fact, you aren't the first one to ask me about that recently. Although, word of the mouth is, someone has already bought it.
Ah, yeah. The right couple. It was a close friend who handled that sale.
So I heard. Well, don't think the house being bought by anyone would stop us from talking about it. What is it about the mansion, then?
I just want to ask what you think of it, sir.
We're going to need more than an afternoon for that, young man. You see, it's the kind that has changed over the years, passed down from one person to the next. Sometimes, it's the Lord William who haunts the place. There are versions where it's the lady of the house. But my favorite, a personal favorite, would have to be the ones that followed after the disappearance of the kind daughter.
Well, what about these then?
There's a moment of hesitation on my part before I pull out Mr. Rice's photos and lay them all in front of him. Unlike Ashford, the professor respects each print with great interest. They give me some hope at least.
When were these taken?
Just the other day. Do you think those are the same?
Perhaps. Perhaps not. There were certainly instances when the film would pick up what the human eyes weren't able to see. But then, it could also have been human error.
I didn't edit it in any way. You have my word on that, Professor. They all just came out like that.
Then, if it is what you're thinking, I'd strongly advise against doing something reckless and further tangling with them. Accounts about them may be riveting to you, but most of it often ends in an unpleasant manner.
What about those people in the house? If there is something in there, shouldn't they know? I'm sure they're already familiar with the legends, but...
Some people might deserve it, however.
Okay, maybe not Hannah for.
Deserve what, sir?
All of a sudden, the tenderness in the professor's eyes disappears, his face becoming unreadable. As for catching himself, he hastily clears his throat, gathers his books, and rises from his seat.
Professor?
I'm sorry. I just remembered something I neglected to do. You'll have to excuse me, Zachary.
All right. Do you need any help with that?
Don't let my looks fool you, son. I can still carry a few hundreds. I've been doing this for years. I'll see you some other time if you have any other questions.
Of course. It was nice knowing you, Professor.
He doesn't hear it, however. Zachary met with Professor Andrew Clark at the library. The professor shared a few of his favorite stories about the city, including a friend's research about its urban legends. When Zachary showed Hannah his photos, the professor only warned him not to be reckless, and that something deserved what's coming for them. I mean, again, Hannah, no, she doesn't deserve something like that. Luke, on the other hand, in a few short strides, he's out the library, leaving me and every piece of this whole mess amidst the oppressive stillness. Despite the answers gleaned, more questions surfaced. If there is even a single way out of this, I hope we find it soon. Maybe in the next episode! Who knows? Anywho, for now, hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you tomorrow. Bye bye.